A few months ago, a viewer commissioned a British Rail Class 8 that I ultimately powered with a MouldKing hub and motor. At the time, I did not have the chance to fully review said hub and motor, but now we can finally take a look at them, starting with the M006 Intelligent Module 4.0. This product usually costs about $30 and comes in a surprisingly polished box, which has pictures of the hub, the included controller, and the not included app. Some sparse Chinese and English text says pretty much nothing about the contents, so let's open it up and take a look inside. The box has proper flaps on both sides and opens non-destructively, though I don't think I would keep this packaging, much like I wouldn't keep the Brick Tracks packaging. A flimsy plastic tray contains the hub and the controller, while a USB cable and a screwdriver fall out of the back. The intelligent module comes in the light and dark gray color scheme of traditional power functions, while the controller comes in white and orange, something of a hybrid between PU and PF. The hub has 4 PF connectors, a charging port, and a power button on top, some oddly placed pinholes on the sides, and studs and anti-studs in the expected orientations. The controller has 8 buttons, 2 for each channel, and an on-off switch on the front, 2 shoulder buttons on the top, and a battery cover with a screw on the back. The hub itself takes up less space than a city hub, contains an integrated battery and receiver, and outputs in PF instead of PU. The integrated battery probably doesn't help capacity or serviceability, but the hub's overall small size, low cost, and relatively large feature set potentially make it a compelling solution for models that can't fit power functions and would otherwise need powered up. Unlike the PU controller, the MouldKing controller only requires 2 batteries. It uses some sort of wireless and should not require line of sight, but it also pairs surprisingly seamlessly. The 2 shoulder buttons actually link the channels on their side. Toggling the left shoulder makes the A buttons control both the A and B channels. Unfortunately, the physical buttons only do on-off. We need to use the optional app to get speed control. Here I have it running on an iPhone SE, but I presume MouldKing also offers an Android version. While the powered up app can only control the City Hub, the MouldKing app can control a variety of their products. We get 3 ways to identify said product: image selection, manual selection, and product selection. Image recognition, of course, requires access to the camera, and I suspect it does not work for just hubs. The only time it returns something, it returns some kind of tank. On the flip side, manual selection only shows hubs, and product selection only shows complete sets. Let's go ahead with manual selection and choose the 4.0 intelligent module. Here we get a virtual controller with 2 joysticks and 2 channels per joystick. In the upper right, we can toggle between 3 different hubs, see an explanation of the UI, change the feedback mode, and access one more submenu for programming or settings. The programming seems very limited, with only a few available functions, while the settings can change the positions of the joysticks and the direction of the motors. The joysticks themselves act like the D-pads on the controller, except with speed control. The sticks can either lock in place or return to center. Each side also has a virtual version of the shoulder buttons. The controls have a seemingly wide power band, but also a really big dead zone in the center, which I consider a feature. The powered up app sliders have a really small dead zone, which makes it very hard to stop a PU motor completely. Similar to the official app, the MouldKing app has dedicated controls for specific products. Like the ones in PU, the dedicated controls in MouldKing can control a mock as long as it has the same hub and motor configuration as the set in question. For example, the controls for the Orient Express can control the SY, though the motor will turn the wrong way unless I flip one of the internal gears. Finally, let's look at the M004, quote, Black Furious M motor, which comes in a similarly styled box, but with other products shown on the back. The box uses flimsier cardboard and contains a flimsier tray, but again, I would throw it away anyway. The motor itself looks just like any other not M motor, but in different colors and with a MouldKing logo. I ran it in the SY earlier in the video, but I also put it on the Prony Brake for an actual test. Surprisingly, this motor performs much more like a real M than a not M, generating a little more torque at low speeds and a little less power overall. I really expected it to be closer to the not M. This is admittedly a single sample, but it is also worth investigating further if I get more of these or other MouldKing motors in the future. Overall, barring any reliability concerns, I'm fairly impressed with the M006 hub. It offers a feature set somewhere between that of power functions and powered up, while occupying less space and costing less than a city hub. The physical controller and limited programming seem pretty useless, but the app needs less setup and appears to consume less power than the official one. For the vast majority of basic use cases, I'd call it pretty sufficient. I will try to use it more going forward and see what else comes up. On that note, this is the end of the video. Please consider subscribing if you like what we do, and have a nice day.